you going? No. Okay, you can go now. Sorry. Chris. Kieran Channon, Austin Hennig, Preston Russell, Matthew Reiniger. What? Well, he got Reiniger. I'd go Reiniger. Got a pen? Oliver? A pen? You're muted.
Hello and welcome to the U20 Alberta Provincials, presented by the Gervais Academic Scholarship Foundation. On our feature sheet today, we have the men's semifinal between Team Kieran Channon and Team Jaxon Hiebert. Team Hiebert, by virtue of higher seed throughout the round robin, gets hammer in the first end. Throwing lead stones for Team Channon is Matthew Reiniger. Right off the bat, it appears we're going to have a simple up and down end to help both these teams kind of figure out the ice and figure out their game plan for this important semifinal game. Throwing lead stones for Team Hiebert is Braden Hine. Also on the ice this morning, we have both women's semifinals between Sierra Androzak and Reese Morrison, and Emma DeSkiffert versus Sophie Abbs. While we have this simple up and down from both teams, I'll just explain the rules of today's game. This is an 8-end game with 32 minutes of thinking time per team, with 2 timeouts per team. If an extra end were to be needed, each team would get an additional timeout and then 4 minutes of thinking time. With that rollout there by Team Channon, it gives Team Hiebert the opportunity to learn some new paths going out to the wings that could become important later into the game. This does kind of show the importance of, as easy it is just to be a simple hit, whether it be on the nose or rollout. It is important to still make your hits on the nose, because it kind of takes away the opportunity from the other team to learn different paths of drawing. Because if you continue to roll out on these types of hits, you're giving the other team opportunities to learn different paths, which could become vital later into the game. Another rollout there from Team Channon, so it'll give second thrower Nate Burton and Team Hiebert the opportunity to continue to learn this path out to the wings. Third stone throwers here for Team Channon is Austin Hennig. Nice hit and stick there from Austin. Third stone throwers for Team Hiebert is Noah Mason Wood. One thing this does for both teams, as well as kind of gets them an idea of the ice, is it saves a lot of thinking time, which could become very important later in the game when there's more rocks in play, more decisions to be made, more choices that have to be thought out. So this gives both teams plenty of time for later in the game, as well as helps the team kind of learn the different paths and the ice in the first end of this game. As we reach skip stones, Kieran Channon with a nice hit and stick gives Jaxon Hiebert the opportunity to hit and roll to the wing. One important part of each team that I forgot to mention while introducing the lineup is the coaches. Coaches are a super important part to curling, especially in the younger age groups. They can prove as a pivotal part to helping team with strategy, with confidence, with emotions. Coach for Team Hiebert is Evan Asmussen, and coach for Team Channon is Chris Power. Nice hit and stick there by Jaxon Hiebert. Kieran Channon with a very nice hit and roll of the wings gives Jaxon the opportunity as a blank that he had hoped for at the beginning of his end. Nice shot by Jaxon, and end one ends in a blank. We will be back momentarily. And we are back here with end number 2 in the men's semifinal of the U20 Alberta Provincials. End 1 ended in a blank, so Team Hiebert will maintain hammer as Team Channon is attempted to come top 4 and did just make top 12. We're gonna see Braden Hine and Team Hiebert try that hit and roll to the wing. This could often indicate whether Team Hiebert wants to go for another blank, or this could even be a strategy that is called a delayed corner, where the team will hit the first rock and roll to the wings, and then no matter what the other team does, would throw up a corner guard on their following shot. Both these teams had a very successful round robin throughout this week here in Leduc. Team Hiebert finished second in round robin with a 6-1 record, coming short in the 1-2 game to Team Halushak last night. Team Channon finished the round robin with a 5-2 record, beating out Team Mitsopolis in the 3-4 game, lining themselves up to play Team Hiebert in the semifinal. These teams did match up in the round robin, with the match going in favor of Team Hiebert. It was a close match, but Team Hiebert was able to pull away late. And so Team Channon is out here looking to reverse the tide and come out with a strong win here this morning. As I said, Team Hiebert is going to go with the delayed corner strategy. This often is used when the first rock of the opposing team is made fairly well and you don't want to leave it there, so you'll see teams often hit and roll or just kind of get it away from the top 4 kind of button area, and then with that the other team will make a shot, and then you will often ignore that because it's not as precise as their first shot. So this one here, with the red rock being top 12, top 8, Team Hiebert doesn't feel that's a threat, so they decide to throw up a corner and try and set themselves up for a potential multiple in this end. Nice draw around there by Preston Russell. This will leave Team Hiebert with a double and potential roll towards the corner. It does appear the double is the main shot here, so I believe that will be their focus on their shot. Not a bad shot there from Nate Burton. It does appear Team Channon is shot stone though, however it does completely remove any rock from the 8-foot, leaving it wide open for any potential draw around that corner that Team Hiebert might want. In both women's semifinal, it is 1-0 after in both games. Team Gifford leads Sophie Abs 1-0 after 1. And in the other semifinal, Team Androzhuk leads Team Morrison 1-0 after 1. A little bit of a missed shot there from Team Channon. The rollout there gives Team Hiebert a really good chance to draw around this corner and set up something for this end. For any beginning curlers out there, It is super important. As simple as it sounds, it is very important to make your hit and sticks as much as possible. It might not seem like much, but on like opportunities like this, rolling out completely takes away any threat towards Team Hiebert. So this gives them the opportunity to draw around their corner and potentially set something up. Whereas if they were to hit and stick, there would be a red in the top house potentially threatening towards Team Hiebert. So for any beginner curlers out there, as simple as it might sound, working on those hit and sticks can be very important for many different situations in a game. Nice draw on the corner there from Nate Burton. Believe Team Channon is going to try the run back and just clear out that area. Just a little off the mark there from Austin Hennig and Team Channon. However, it does roll to a nice spot, kind of guarding their side or their edge of 12-foot rock. Team Hiebert's going to follow it down, kind of come and freeze right to it, using it as backing to make it much more difficult for Team Channon to remove. Nice shot by Noah Mason Wood there. It's a little heavy, and the bump definitely makes it a lot easier for Team Channon to remove. However, it does put a rock over in that area. That back red does pose a little bit of a threat, but with the extra weight there, it makes it much easier for Team Channon. Nice hit and roll there by Team Channon. Brings the rock a lot closer to that yellow stone, potentially setting up a double on one of their next two shots for skip Kieran Channon. Team Hiebert here is going to nose or try and roll maybe a smidge towards the center line just to make that double quite difficult. Any roll towards that yellow and red corner would make a double significantly easier for Team Channon. Nice sweep there from Braden Hine. It looked a little wide out of the hand, but was able to get right back to nose, leaving that double much more difficult for Team Channon. Team Channon here is going to try and hit that back rock and roll underneath that yellow, kind of using that yellow as like a center guard to kind of draw around or hit and roll around, pardon me. If made correctly, it gives Jaxon Hiebert a somewhat difficult run back. You have to stick on the nose, otherwise Team Channon would have a good chance to force this end. Really nice shot from Kieran Channon there. Does leave it a little open on the side there, but makes it a very difficult shot for Jaxon Hiebert here. That side red, though, does kind of prove as a catcher for Team Hiebert here, whereas Jaxon can hit and roll towards the wing and will use that side red as a catcher if he potentially is going to roll out. So in a way, it's almost like he's throwing a double here because of the way those rocks are angled, giving him a little extra room to roll with a catcher on the side. On and off, so it looks quite close for Team Hiebert here. Really nice shot from Jaxon Hiebert. The double is there, however, it would be a little tight with that side red there. However, it does give Team Channon the exact same shot I just threw, with how he made it almost perfectly. I do believe Kieran Channon will be very close on this shot as well. Really nice shot from Team Channon here. Does overroll a little, so it does give Team Hiebert a chance to kind of tap that back for a second point. However, this is not an easy shot. So a very nice shot from Team Channon. Does also force Team Hiebert to go into a little bit of a different path, something they haven't necessarily thrown this end. So it was a very good shot by Kieran, and Team Hiebert with an opportunity for their two. Heart of the hand here for Team Hiebert. Does look a little inside. They're going to try and just tap it back for their one. Nice audible there from Noah Masonwood and Team Hiebert, giving that Team Hiebert their one in end number 2. 1-0 Hiebert. We are back with end number 3 here in the men's semifinal, with Team Hiebert scoring their 1 in end number 2. They will throw first stones with Braden Hine. A little bit of a missed opportunity there for Team Hiebert in the last end, but I'm sure they'll be happy to get on the board with the first point of the game. Sometimes just getting on the scoreboard is all it takes for your team to kind of get rolling. Often in games like this, nerves can be a big thing, so settling the nerves, getting on the scoreboard, even if it's just a 1, can be nice for both the team's morale and confidence, as Team Hiebert decides to go up with the center guard, tight center guard, and Team Channon will follow it around with a draw around the guard. Good question. So pre-game is often some of the worst nerves because you're not on the ice. You're just antsy, ready to get on there. So sometimes it's just everyone kind of has their different way of dealing with nerves in games like this. It could be going and sitting in the corner, just relaxing, listening to some music, just kind of doing your own thing. Some people might be a little more social, talk to their teammates, talk to their coach, their family, whatever that might be, just kind of get themselves in the groove. No one really has the same. It's always a little different from people. For me personally, it was always kind of just sit on my own, relax a little bit, not think too much into the game, because I often found the more you think of the game, the more stressed you get kind of heading into the game. But then as soon as you step on the ice, most of the nerves kind of disappear. It just kind of turns into another curling game. You're there with your 3 of your best friends, playing the sport you love. However, in important games such as this, the nerves start to come back a little bit more come end 7 and 6 as the game really starts to progress towards the end, especially in a tight game, which it looks like this game will end up being. It is important to kind of control those nerves later in the game, and 7 and 8, and really not let them get the better of you, because there could be a time when it comes upon you to make a really important shot for your team that could potentially dictate the result of the game. So it's just important staying calm, staying present, staying in the game, whether that means talking to your coach and having them help you just kind of soothe your nerves, whether it be with your teammates, whether it just be a moment to yourself, taking a deep breath in the hack. Everyone's a little different, so just always kind of make sure you kind of keep those nerves intact, especially in an important game like this. Nice come around there from Team Hiebert, followed up by a little bit heavy there from Team Channon. Not ideal, but it does give Team Channon 2 rocks in the forefoot. However, that one being back 4 could prove a little costly later in this end. Team Hiebert here trying to come in corner freeze on that rock top 4. If made effectively, this could prove a little scary for Team Channon, although this does appear to be a little outside. Bradenheim with a very nice sweep in. Very nice shot from Nate Burton and Team Hiebert. Team Channon realizes there's a little too many rocks in that top 4 area, so they're going to kind of clear out some rocks. Always trying to give themselves something to at least score in this end. One thing with young curlers, it could be, and especially in a situation like this, you see all these rocks in play, and you tend to just kind of keep throwing them in, trying to get more rocks in play. I'll admit I was like this a lot playing U18s and sometimes even into juniors, like the more rocks the better. But it is also very important to give yourself at least an opportunity to have your 1 point, because in games like this, steals could be game-changing depending on how big a steal it can be. So always kind of keeping the center open, giving yourself a chance at least scoring a point here. Not making anything too crazy this early in the game, because something like a big risk early in this game could prove a little costly for either of these teams. Team Channon with the peel of the center guard, and Team Hiebert deciding to follow it back up and replace that center guard. In the women's semifinal on sheet 7, it is 1-1 Team Morrison and Team Androzuk. And on sheet 5, it is a steal of 1 for Team de Skiffert, making it 2-0 Team de Skiffert over Team Abs after 2. Nice guard there from Team Hiebert. However, it does leave that top 8 yellow exposed a little bit. Unfortunately, it is exposing the wrong side of the rock that Team Hiebert would have liked in the situation. This gives Team Channon a chance to kind of chip that rock out the side and even out into the open. As we will see from this shot here with their shot call. Little bit of a missed opportunity there from Team Channon as they rack on that center. Let's see if this red rolls in. It is very close. Team Hiebert seems to think no. So they will replace that center guard. I believe they will want it a little bit closer to the center line this time, just kind of covering that inside of that top yellow. It would be okay to show a little piece of the outside of this yellow, because that would always be sent back into one of their reds or even their yellow. On like a red would be touched if they show the outside of that yellow and Team Channon were to chase it. Whereas if they left the inside like they've done that last shot, they can chip it out, roll it open, and sit 3 rocks in the house to Team Hiebert's 1. This one appears to be a tad heavy and outside, unfortunately. Much tighter guard, potentially even biting the 12-foot there, giving Team Channon a really good chance at clearing some of these yellows out. Team Channon trying for the double, potentially even triple on this shot. A little over curl there from Team Channon there. Another unfortunately missed opportunity. Team Hiebert changing up their strategy a little bit. It appears they could come into the house. Deciding to hit that back 4-1 and roll to the kind of 8-foot edge of 8-foot there. I don't mind the shot at all. It kind of brings in the force, which would be a good situation in this. And this shot kind of goes away from a potential steal and instead kind of, oh, maybe not. I like the conversation this team's having, kind of going through all the different possibilities of what happens if they throw this versus what happens if they throw that. It appears they decided to go back to the center guard, kind of pushing more towards the steal here. I don't hate it with still 4 rocks to go. If we were closer to skip stones or maybe on skip stones, I would maybe lean towards that hit and roll that Hiebert was talking about on the first shot. But I quite like the shot being a little more aggressive, potentially trying to go for that steal as well. Nice shot from Noah and Team Hiebert. Much better center guard here. None of the rock is open there, so it's completely buried. It appears Team Channon's going to follow up again with another peel. Nice shot from Austin Hennig and Team Channon. It puts a little bit of pressure on Team Hiebert now with that lonely yellow in there with their 2 Team Channon reds. It appears Team Hiebert believes there's a hit there, and I believe pretty close to nose on that yellow would be a double. You'd be hitting that top, or that side red closest to the yellow quite thin and redirecting onto that back red. This would require a little bit more weight just to remove that side red one right beside that yellow. But if made effectively, it removes both reds and puts 2 yellows kind of within the 4-foot, putting the pressure back on Team Channon. On and off, looks pretty close. Nice shot from Team Hiebert, but got a little unlucky on that rollout from that side red. As I said, you were hitting it pretty thin, so it would have required a lot of weight to remove, but not a bad shot still. You got 2 yellows in the 4-foot. That double there, always got to be a little cautious of that side red that was just put there. However, if the shot is made, Team Channon has a very good opportunity at their 2 here. Team Channon here trying that double. Hard right out of the hand, so it appeared a little tight out of the hand. Really nice shot from Team Channon, even rolling away and making that double much more difficult for Team Hiebert. However, there is still a double there. It's not the most difficult double because it does look a fairly good spacing and one's much higher up, so the double is probably about a half rock to about a 3rd rock type shot. This would be a very important shot for Team Hiebert to make to potentially get a blank or even force to 1 here. hard right out of the hand. Oh, on and off. Very nice shot from Team Hiebert there. Even sticks at the back 12. It does appear that both teams have agreed that side red there is not in, because it does appear Team Channon is going for the blank. I would be curious if, for example, Team Channon sticks this rock on the nose, if they would take a look at that red, or even if Team Channon blanks, that Team Hiebert would take a look at that red. It is interesting to think that this shot kind of depends on what team would want to look at that red stone on that side there. Just rolled out far enough for a potential blank. Take a look. No, it's a blank. Remains 1-0 Team Hiebert after 3. We are back with the fourth end of this men's semifinal game between Team Hiebert and Team Channon. With that blank there in end number 3, Team Channon retains hammer, and Team Hiebert deciding to go top 4 into the house. Team Channon going to follow it up with a hit and roll to the wing. Another opportunity where I might see that blank come into play again with exchanging hits, or we might even see that delayed corner that we saw in end number 2 from Team Hiebert. In the women's semifinal on sheet number 5 between Sophie Abs and Team Emma de Skiffert, Team Abs follows up with a 2, tying the game up at 2 after 3. And on sheet number 7 between Sierra Androzak and Reese Morrison, Team Morrison comes out with a steal and takes the lead at 2-1 after 3. A rollout there from Team Channon gives Team Hiebert to follow up the shot they just made with bringing it back to top 4 again. Like I mentioned earlier, this gives Team Hiebert a little bit more of an opportunity to learn the draw path, to learn the speed, instead of having to worry about hitting a potential Channon rock. Nice shot from Braden Hine, not quite as nice as his first one. So, as I said, we'd see the delayed corner here from Team Channon as Matthew Reiniger will follow up with a corner guard. Nice corner guard there by Matthew and Team Channon. I think they would have preferred it a little further out towards the wings, but it's a nice depth where it should be fairly easy to get around. Team Hiebert looks like they're going to try and draw around their own yellow or potential tap. Didn't entirely see what they chose. Does appear they decided to go with the draw around. Haven't touched it very much. Fair shot by Nate Burton. It's back 8, perfectly buried behind their top 12 rock. Team Channon, not wanting to let the center cluster up too much, will decide to hit that top one and try and roll under their corner guard. Nice double there from Preston Russell and Team Channon. Team Hiebert gonna go up and try and hit and potentially roll towards the corner guards. With this being a provincial semifinal, but the winner of this team will go on to the final this afternoon to play Team Holushak. Both these teams have plenty of national experience on their players, whether it be from U18s or U20 junior provincials. Team Hiebert has had a couple players go to both U18s and junior nationals before, and Team Channon has had several of their players at U18s just last year. Lots of national experience on this game, which could prove vital for the stress and nerves they might be feeling in a game like this. Missed opportunity there for Team Hiebert as they roll away and out of the rings, giving Team Channon the perfect opportunity to draw around that corner guard they threw up in their second rock. If made, this could prove a little scary for Team Hiebert. Will force either a run back or a good freeze depending on where this rock is placed. This one looks a little outside and maybe even a little heavy. Maybe taking Team Hiebert off the hook, depending on where this goes. Big missed opportunity there from Team Channon. Team Channon here. Team Hiebert will go up and immediately peel that rock, making it look like this end will end in a blank. Nice peel there by Noah. You might see Team Channon go over towards that yellow. Yep, just like he's doing. It's not guarding any of the house really, but would be nice to put a rock over there, at least bring that rock into play a little bit, put it into the thrower's eyes. It could even result in, like, even if you can bury it a quarter or a half under that yellow, or even put it close to it, it puts that yellow in the view of the thrower. It kind of gets in their head and could potentially have them maybe slide a little inside, put a little bit of a softer release on it, and potentially even rack on that side yellow there. Missed opportunity there for Team Channon again. Team Hiebert will now follow it up and try and put a rock out near that side yellow. Oh, they're deciding to go the opposite side here, accepting that this end will probably end in a blank. Gotta get this rock in the house, don't want to leave it as a corner for Team Channon. And they do just enough to put that top 12. Team Channon electing to go with the out turn hit here, inside out. Curling right out of the hand, get just enough of it to push it out. Looks like Team Hiebert will follow it up with the exact same thing. Put it out towards the wing as we are potentially headed for yet another blank. Nice draw by Jaxon Hiebert. And Team Channon will follow it up with an attempt to blank and number 4. Gonna roll that all the way out. No, they will not. A big missed opportunity there for Team Channon as they take their 1 into 4, and both teams head into the break tied at 1. We are back with the second half of this men's semi-final at the U20 Alberta Provincials, presented by the Gervais Academic Scholarship Foundation. So far, this game has been quite open and not much risk taken by both teams, as shown by the scoreboard with a 1-1 game and 2 blanks. It would be curious to see what team takes a risk first, whether it be drawing around a center without hammer, whether it be throwing up corners with rocks in play. But it appears Team Hiebert will not do that quite yet, as they're planning on going open side to the wing and ignoring that center guard. After 4 ends in the women's semifinals, it is 3-2 to Skiffert over Team Sophie Abs, and on sheet 7, it is tied at 2 between Sierra Androzak and Reese Morrison. Roll out there from Team Channon gives Team Hiebert the opportunity to put that rock back on the open side. It appears we're going for yet another open end. I would be curious to see if at some point the team without hammer decides to really dictate play and just completely ignore any of their opposing rocks in the house. Like here, for example, if it does look a little heavy though. And it sticks back 8, back 12. And here's what I was about to say. I would be curious to see if the team without hammer just ignores their opponent's rock and draws around, like we're seeing right here. I do like this call quite a bit. It really brings the play in towards the center, puts a little bit of pressure on Team Hiebert, and really tries to force them to either get one or maybe even steal, depending on how these shots are made. Just a sliver tight there as they touch the guard, unfortunately. Team Hiebert's now going to go a little bit aggressive and draw around those 2 center guards. One positive for Team Channon on that one is those guards aren't staggered. So even if Team Hiebert were to make a good draw around here, they could choose either of those 2 center rocks to run back on this yellow rock. If they were staggered, Team Channon would be a little bit more trouble, as there'd be no run back and would be forced to a tough freeze. The sweepers have not touched this stone. Curling it now. A little heavy there from Nate Burton and Team Hiebert. This gives Team Channon a really nice opportunity to freeze and set up a good steal opportunity here. This is a very important shot. Even if it is only second stones, this is a very important shot that could potentially help Team Channon towards a steal on this end. Really close shot here from Team Channon. Really nice shot there from Team Channon and Preston Russell. Team Hiebert going out into work to peel those center guards, opening up the center, potentially securing themselves at least 1 point in this end. Oof. Not quite what Team Hiebert called. Unfortunate break there for Nate Burton and Team Hiebert. Team Channing can either elect to kind of nose their red and remove that yellow, or they can maybe play it a little more aggressive with a center guard, electing to call a timeout and refer to their coach, Chris Power. I personally would throw up a center guard here because early in this end, nosing that red and removing that yellow would give Team Hiebert 4 opportunities at some doubles to potentially blank this end. However, if you throw a center guard, it forces Team Hiebert to consider peeling, or if they want to go super aggressive and draw in with a freeze/tap. Team Channon electing to go with a hit and squirt them sideways. They will have to be a little careful on this one, because if they don't hit it quite right, they could set up a double and maybe even a triple with where the rocks will spill after this shot. Nice shot from Team Channon. Leaves a fairly simple nose double here for Team Hiebert. They might even be able to get away to roll a little towards that side red in the red corner over there. Missed opportunity there from Team Hiebert and Noah Mason Wood. Team Channon electing to hit and keep the force in play here. Nice hit and roll away there from Austin Hennig. Does look like there might be a double there for Team Hiebert. However, it would be long and would require a little bit more weight. Pretty nice shot from Noah Mason Wood. Even if he didn't remove that second red, it definitely opens up the scoring zone much more. A lot more area to kind of draw into or maybe make a hit and roll here. Also, with all those reds kind of accumulating on the side there, with the potential hit and roll from Team Hiebert, you could maybe bring in one of those as like a catcher, depending on a shot. But it does appear Team Channon is headed towards a force of Team Hiebert. Missed opportunity there for Team Channon as he rolls out. There isn't really a double though, so Team Hiebert can elect to try and freeze on that side red, or like they're going to call, try and hit and roll under that corner kind of beside that other red, making Team Channon's last stone a little more difficult. Just a nose hit there from Team Hiebert, giving Team Channon a simple hit on nose, potentially forcing Team Hiebert to one in this end. Looks fairly close out of the hand, clean and straight, means it looks pretty good. Nice nose hit there from Team Channon, and Team Hiebert will be forced. Clean out of the hands, a good sign. It's your favorite word as a sweeper and even as a thrower. Nice shot from Jaxon, and it is a 1 for Team Hiebert to take the lead 2-1 after 5. We are back with end number 6 here in the men's semifinal at the U20 Alberta Provincials. It has been a very open, very simple game so far as we approach the latter ends of this game. Team Hiebert electing to go top 4 again, keeping it open as they have through the first 5 ends. It does appear whatever team is able to score a deuce at some point in this game will have a significantly higher chance at winning this game. It does appear that this illustrious deuce will be the game changer in this moment. Team Channon electing to go underneath that center guard, making it look like a little bit of a more aggressive end from Team Channon. Really trying to get that multiple here in end number 6. In the women's semifinal, after 5 ends, it is 3-2 for Team Morrison over Team Androzhuk. And in the other game between Emma DeSkiffer and Sophie Abs, it appears as they are headed towards another blank with 1 rock remaining. Really nice shot there from both Matthew Reiniger and Braden Heim, both with 2 very nice draws. This might be a good sign for a fun end of lots of rocks in play. Team Channon electing to go with a little bit of a tap, kind of spreading out those rocks a little bit so they're not quite frozen to each other. Another really nice shot there from Team Channon. 3 really nice rocks on that 4-foot there. I misspoke when talking about the Team DeSkiffert and Team Abs game. It ended up being a steal of 1 for Team DeSkiffert, making their lead 4-2 after 5. Team Hiebert electing to try and freeze on that side of that red one there, side 4. Looks fairly close with the sweepers here. Really nice shot there from Team Hiebert. We have had 4 perfect shots in this 4-foot here. You could even argue 5 with that center guard too. This has been a very well curled end so far. We're only 5 rocks in. Good shot there from Team Channon. Changes the angles a little bit. Moves some rocks around. Team Hiebert electing to go with the same shot they just threw and kind of freeze it on that side red there. After 6 ends in the Sierra Androzek and Reese Morrison game, it is tied at 3. It's been a lot of singles back and forth. Looks like a very close, very well curled game there on sheet number 7. Speaking of, a very nice shot there from Team Hiebert, essentially welding that yellow in between those rocks. Team Channon electing to blast some rocks around, trying that run back onto their own red. This could potentially clear out 3 or 4 rocks and open up that 4 foot a little more. A little bit of a push out there from Preston Russell and just peels out that center guard. Not bad shot either. Definitely opens up the middle a little more. Team Hiebert discussing what they want to do. Options include nosing that side red on the edge of the 8 foot there. All 4 of them are going to come down and discuss just a little bit. Both teams have plenty of time with only 2.5 ends to go. As you can see in that back top left corner with the screen, Team Hiebert with 14 minutes and 30 seconds, and Team Channon with just over 11 minutes. Personally, I don't hate throwing up another center guard. Makes Team Channon have to think a little bit and kind of guard up their own yellows in the 4 foot there. But I also would understand just hitting that red, kind of drawing it play away from that center, making the other team make a shot, and potentially setting up something a little better for Team Hiebert. It appears they've elected to hit that side red, kind of leaving it open to Team Channon to play along with play with those rocks in the 4 foot. I'm wrong again. They've decided to go with the center guard here. I do like this call quite a bit. Protects those yellows that they have in the 4 foot. Makes Team Channon have to think a little bit about how they want to play with these last 4 rocks. Team Yellow is in a good spot with 2 yellows kind of on top of that red. This rock does appear a little tight on line. Might also be a little heavy on the weight as well. It's a little over curl there from Team Hiebert. Leaves that red wide open for Team Channon. It appears they want to throw this rock pretty hard, kind of just clear some rocks out of that forefoot. I do like this call. Opens up the scoring area a little bit more, clears out some yellows. And if they hit it properly, they should have two reds kind of right on top of each other. Right kind of on that top 4, top 8, which would be a pretty good spot to have this late in the end. Nice shot from Team Channon as they don't actually lose any of their reds and still remove 2 yellows. And all of a sudden there's 4 reds to Team Hiebert's lonely 2 yellows. Team Hiebert liking to go with a timeout on this shot. They do definitely have to play a hit in the situation. There's quite a few reds around the house, so you don't want to leave that many reds sticking around this late into the end. It does appear yellow is shot stone, but then it does appear red is shot 2, 3, 4, and it does appear Team Yellow is shot 5. Coach Evan Asmussen calling a timeout here. It appears he's talking about playing off that top yellow kind of into those bunch of reds. I do like this call, kind of keeps a little bit of control of the top of the house, which is important. Really nice shot there from Team Hiebert and Noah Mason-Wood. I do believe that top yellow does slightly take away any double on those 2 yellows. That red is wide open though, so Team Channon can definitely play any sort of hit they want on that top 8, top 4 red there. Team Channon electing to hit that red about as close to nose and maybe even get a smidge roll inside. If made, this could be a little bit dangerous for Team Hiebert. Curl out of the hand. Rolls over the top, but does stick all of their reds. Those reds are starting to add up on the side of on the edges of the house. Does force Team Hiebert to be a little cautious. Team Hiebert electing to hit the second shot stone on the side of the 8-foot there. This is definitely a safer and smarter call. Kind of takes away a big potential of an end as long as he can stick around. But the shot is quite important to stick around, whether it be somewhere in the house, ideally still second shot. Really good shot there from Jaxon. Although it might leave a run of some sort to remove a few yellows. One positive is it did just roll right in front of their red, so it might be a little more difficult to remove. But if hit properly, there could definitely be a double, maybe even a triple here on these yellows. Be a very crucial shot here in this game if made. Clean out of the hand. Curling now. Does make the double there. That is very lonely yellow in the house now. Team Hiebert has to decide what they want to do. They could draw around to kind of stagger it, but there would be a risk to potentially leaving a run for a boatload. They could hit and roll off of one of those, but they have to be careful with the roll to not set up a double for, yet again, a boatload. This is a very important shot for Team Hiebert, and it has to be made essentially perfect. I quite like the draw here, kind of right where Noah has his broom, because any run back at that angle would send that back 8 yellow straight into that red. Unfortunately, I don't have an overhead view of the house to tell what that would position the rocks as, but this is a very important shot for Team Hiebert and Jaxon. They got it going hard line right out of the hand. Really got to get it by that top red. As they do get it by. That does leave a nose run for, looks like 4. Got to hit a hair on the high side of that rock. It does appear it only ends up being 1 red for Team Channon as they're checking. That was inches away from being perfect. Heck, not even inches, that was centimeters away from being perfect. Huge break for Team Hiebert, as it appears Team Channon only gets their 1 on that end. But on the scoreboard, a force is a force. We are back with end number 7 in this very tightly played game between Team Channon and Team Hiebert. Team Hiebert's got to be feeling a little thankful right now. That was mere centimeters away from being a potential 4 or maybe even 5 with the roll and being game-changing right there. But it was only a 1, so we remain tied 2-2 in end number 7. It appears Team Hiebert is going to go simple and open to try and get their blank to keep the hammer into the last end. In the women's semifinal, it is another steal of 1 for Team de Skiffert to go up 5-2 over Team Sophie Abs. And on sheet number 7, Team Morrison breaks the game open with a big score of 3 in end number 7 to go up 6-3 into 8. Nice hit and roll there from Braden Heim, kind of leaves the center line open. Team Channing, knowing they have to force or even steal in this end, are going to go back up and throw up a center guard. A better center guard here thrown up by lead Matthew Reiniger. Does appear to just overcurl the center line, but still a good guard nonetheless. Team Hiebert changing gears just a little bit and going a little more aggressive with the draw around the center guard. It is super important in this shot to not take it back house. You want it top 8, top 4. you don't want to come anywhere near that back house to where you can give the Team Channon an opportunity to freeze right on top of your stone. Sweepers are off. Really nice shot from Braden Hyde. Maybe about a rock deeper than they were hoping, but it stayed above the tee line, which is the most important part, but will still give Team Channon the opportunity to follow down and freeze right on top. Sweepers aren't touching it very much. It looks a little heavy. Trying to carve it in last second. Just chaps off. Not really what Team Channon was hoping for. Team Hiebert electing to go and hit that stone. Sit 3 in the house. A roll away here would be quite nice. Take all rocks away from that 4 foot. They're going hard to keep it straight there. That is not what they were hoping for. Not where you want to put that rock, especially with hammer. Team Channon is going to follow it down and try and freeze. One slight positive for Hiebert is that rock is open. So if they were to make a perfect freeze on that or this other yellow, they'd be able to at least attempt to come at it and hit it. But that is not where you'd want to leave a rock in this situation. Sweepers are going hard on this rock. Comes up just a little light and kind of puts up a double center. Team Hiebert going super aggressive here, going another one top 4, top 8. Some might be thinking that a peel would be a good option here, and yes, it would be a very good option, but with how the red rocks are lined up, there could be a good chance that this tighter red that was just thrown could go straight back onto one of their 2 yellows. That would obviously not be what Team Hiebert wants, but if they can make this shot anywhere close to perfectly, there's a lot of pressure on Team Channon. However, the sweepers are not touching this rock, and they want this one top house, and it does not end up top house. That is a very poor spot to put that stone. Gives Channon a huge pocket to freeze into. And if made perfectly, Team Hiebert will be chasing that rock for quite a few stones. Sweepers are cleaning this one in, looks pretty close. A very nice shot there from Team Channon, and now Hiebert is in some trouble. One option here is you could come right down to it and just tap that backing out of the way, kind of sit right on top, just like Jaxon appears to be calling. Another option you could throw is that peel. It would most likely run back right into that bundle of rocks. But in this situation, that might not be a bad thing with all the rocks behind the tee line. But they've decided to play the tap on that red just to kind of create a little bit of space to remove it. Looks pretty close for Team Hiebert. Again, not a great shot from Team Hiebert. You could not afford to roll off there. It's just creating a bigger and bigger pocket for Team Channon to come and freeze to. We're going hard line on this rock here. Really got to get it by that center guard. And they do. Right onto their red. Well, I'm confident in saying I don't think this end will end in a blank. Someone will score. Appears they're going to try the same shot, but I believe they want to stick closer to nose and not roll out very much. Hard on the line for this rock. Really got to get it by that center guard here. Just got it by. Wow. It's not very good sweep there from Team Hiebert and Nate Burton. A very interesting end is developing with only skip rocks to go. Does appear red is still shot. But like last end, there is a lot of yellows to those lonely reds. This one does appear a little further out there with a little more weight. Oh, it's really coming back now. Chaps off. Not really what they were hoping for. I believe Team Hiebert would like to tap that back red and the back of the forefoot, kind of right where Noah's broom was, out to where they could maybe even remove that closer red on their next shot. These are the type of ends that makes curling fun to watch. but at the same time, super stressful to play. This one looks a little heavy out of the hand. Really curling it hard. It's really moving there. Great sweep by Braden Hine to bring that rock back. Really good throw from Jaxon. And now all of a sudden there is a lot of yellows to that lonely red there. It appears yellow is shot 1, but after that, I'm only guessing. It appears they've elected some type of freeze or maybe even a guard. I didn't quite see what they decided. Looks like they're going to come down and try and freeze, minimize the scoring zone just a little bit. It's a little wider out there again. Not quite sure if that's what they wanted. It does appear it's yellow shot 3, maybe 4. It does sound like they think they're shot 4. You heard, I believe that was Nate saying, if we're shot 4, throw it away. And it does look like maybe they're throwing it away. It's definitely been one of the more interesting 7th ends I've ever seen. So it does appear like Team Hiebert thinks they're shot 4, since they're throwing it away. And into the boards. Now they decide on how many rocks are scoring. As they decide on the score, in the women's semifinals, Team Abs gets 2 and 7 and is playing 8 down 1 without against Team de Skiffert. And on sheet 7 versus with Sierra Androzak and Reese Morrison, Team Androzak follows it up with a 3 of their own in 8 to force an extra end. And the verdict appears to be a 4, and the game is over. Team Hiebert will play in the final this afternoon at 2:30 for the Alberta Provincial Championship against Team Halushak. What an end. What a crazy 7th end. To go from what almost happened in the 6th to what happened in the 7th. Curling is a crazy game, folks. And that was just proof of it. And with that, that is the end of me for this game. There are still 2 women's semifinals going on sheet 5 and sheet 7. They each have their own streams on the Curling Alberta YouTube page, so please go watch those. There appear to be some really interesting curling games. I will be back with you at 2:30 for the final between Team Halushak and Team Hiebert. And for that, thank you for watching, and I will see you this afternoon.